guys? How are y'all doing? Okay, so I just got the car ready for this weekend. We're doing some racing, and the Pro Bracket Radials that I had were a little wore out, so I was contemplating. We got a big no prep race, so I was contemplating putting slicks on. Everybody says put on slicks, so I'm hard-headed. I didn't want to put on slicks, but I started doing a little bit of research, and I got a little bit of information, and some of the people were running the Hoosier Bracket Radials. Now, it's similar to the Pro Bracket Radial, but I'm going to show you the difference in them right now, side by side. So both of these are off of the car. You can see this is the Hoosier 28, 10.5, 15. DBR is the actual tread, the rubber compound. So it is about the same height. You can see the height is similar. They should both be 28 inches. When you look at the actual rollout of the Hoosier, or the circumference, I think it was about a ½ inch bigger than the Pro Bracket Radial. The width, the 275 Pro Bracket Radial, which is this one over here, these are well used, but these were 10.2 on a 10-inch rim, which I have a 10-inch rim, and these were 10.5. And you can see the little bit of difference in the sidewalls, the edges. This one's been scrubbing just a little bit. So you can see how this one has a more like distinct pattern where the tread is. So we're gonna weigh them real quick, and then we're gonna mount one on the rim and see what it looks like, and then take the other one and put them side by side as well. So the Mickey Thompson Pro Bracket Radial, this thing is great. Part number on this tire is the 3355R. It is a superb tire. It is directional. The Hoosier one is not directional. But the thing about this tire is it works really well on a moderate track. I hate slicks. I have been running the Pro Bracket Radial for quite a while now. But the problem I have with the Pro Bracket Radial is when the track prep is not quite so good, it will go into tire shake. And when it starts tire shaking, it seems like it's very hard to control, and sometimes it's hard on parts, which that's tire shake in general. If you tire shake it slick, it's going to do the same thing. But I think what happens with the Pro Bracket Radial is it starts wadding up and then basketballing it. And so looking at the design, if you've run if you got a slick, you know this thing is real floppy on the sidewall. But if you run the 275 Pro Radial, it's a lot stiffer on the sidewall here. And so, that's where the Pro Bracket Radial really does, a good job. And you can see down in there, it's got radial construction. It's got all the plies. So this one's in pretty good shape. So I like them. So this is something that I'm trying new, like I was saying, the Hoosier. So we're going to try it. I don't know if it's going to work out for me or not. But instantly when I threw it on the ground, look at what it did. So this thing is very floppy. The sidewall, when you look at the sidewall on this thing, it looks like it's really stiff right here. And you can see kind of how it does. So from here to here, this is the bead, of course. So from here to here, it's really pretty stiff. Probably pretty similar to this. But look, if I push this down, see how this one goes? It's got a little soft spot from here to here, but it is not near as soft and floppy as this Hoosier is. And so the Hoosier, the drag bracket radial, it's the Hoosier version of, the Pro Bracket Radial. So, but Hoosier come out with Mickey Thompson was the first. They had the first drag radial out there that was any good after BFG. And so everybody run that one. And it was really more legit street car. It was a street tire. But then Hoosier came up with their version of the 275. And that's when X275 was first getting started. And it was hot and heavy. And Hoosier was dominant. And then after that, Mickey Thompson come out with the 275 Pro Radial. And then that kind of, took the market by storm. So once Mickey Thompson come out with the 275 Pro Radial, that become the dominant tire in all X275 racing. And, it requires a really good surface. So then about that time, people started showing up to tracks. They would show up with the 275 Pro, and it would be hit or miss. If the track wasn't prepped really good, they would struggle to go down. It would knock the tires off. A slick, it'll actually wad up and take some tire speed and spin as it's going. A radial will not do that. A radial, if it starts knocking the tire off, generally the 275 Pro, it just knocks the tire off bad and it spins. And it just goes into instant tire smoke. Sometimes you can pedal it and it'll recover. So what Mickey Thompson decided to do, they said, okay, well, we're going to come up with this Pro Bracket Radial. Sidewall's a little softer, like I was saying, and it's going to be more for like your bracket cars or your fast cars that run on radials. They don't like to feel the slicks because they swash around on you all over the place. And so this tire come into existence and it works great. But the problem is, like I was saying earlier, sometimes it will go into tire shake. And I'll show you some videos of mine where it goes into tire shake. And you can see the tire, it starts with the sidewall flopping. And it starts flopping, and then the tire is gripping the track and then releasing. And then it's gripping and releasing. And that's what's happening, and it's tire shaking. And you can see on the track itself, it looks like it's skipping. And so, you know, it just means it can't take any wheel speed. This Pro Bracket Radial has to be dead hooked. If it's not dead hooked, it's going to tire shake. Rarely do they go into tire spin, like straight spin, unless you miss the tune-up a little bit like I did last weekend. But usually it'll shake, and then it might go into tire spin if you hold it to the floor while it's shaking. But generally when it's shaking your teeth out. Stuff's falling off, your mirrors are coming off, you're cracking the glass, and so you're having problems. So generally when you start shaking, you'll let off. So I'm hoping this Hoosier, with it being a much softer sidewall, I'm hoping that it is going to allow some wheel speed. You know, and feeling the compound, you know, with my fingers. I mean, I wish I had a meter that you could check the hardness, but I don't have one. But, I mean, it feels like it's about the same compound as this one, as the Mickey Thompson. So this is just an overview a little bit. You know, looking at it, you've got the choice of the lettering. You can do the black wall or the white letters out. So I'm gonna do probably the black wall, since my front tires don't have much lettering on them. So we're gonna try it. So I'm gonna put it on. This is a 10-inch wide rim. So I'm gonna show you the difference. I'm also gonna weigh them. Let's weigh them real fast and see what the weight is. The Hoosier is supposed to be a little bit lighter. So this is my wife's scale. Don't tell her that I got it from the house. She might be mad if I can get it back. So let's see. So this tire is 28.2 pounds. Now, granted, there's not much rubber left on that one. And the brand new Hoosier is 25.4 pounds. So it's 3 pounds less. So I bet that tire over there is a year old. So I bet if that tire was new, I think Mickey Thompson says it weighs 29 pounds. So let's stick it on the rim real fast. Okay, so this is the two tires mounted on the same rim with 15 pounds of air in both of them. Pro Bracket Radials. And if you measure straight across the tread from here to here, you can see it's just over 10 inches, 10 and a quarter or so. Now this one, these, like I said, these tires they don't have a ton left in them, but you can see where it squashes it some here. So I'm gonna measure from that edge to this one. And when you do the same thing, it's basically the same thing, right at 10 inches. So the 28 by 10 maybe the Hoosier may be just a tad wider. It is definitely a tad taller. We put a level on top of it into the ground. And now this one is wore out, like I said, but it was 27.5 inches tall. And this one is dead on 28 inches tall. But I mean, I like you can see it's got a distinctive, you know, edge to it. So I mean, the tire looks freaking awesome. I mean, it looks, you know what it kind of looks like? It kind of looks like the old McQuarrie's, like the street slicks. I used to love those. But so we'll see. And you see these are the wrinkles on the Pro brackets from the car hooking and going. And I mean, I think even with the tire, with them both laying on the ground, I mean, you know, they look similar. You can see this one's bulging a little bit more. And this one is just, man, it's a lot stiffer. You can see, one of the ways you can see the stiffness, see how small the indent is versus when I push on this one, it's bigger. Well, it's kind of hard to tell. It's significantly softer, especially up here close to the tread. Up here is, I mean, that is really hard, and this is really soft. So we're gonna test them this weekend. We'll see what happens. They may work great, they may not work great. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna find out, and we're gonna go racing this weekend. Hopefully have some good data, and I'll post back up in some of my other videos if it works good for me or not. All right, guys. Well, that's the difference between the Hoosier Bracket Radial and the Mickey Thompson Pro Bracket Radial. I want to call the Hoosier the Pro Bracket Radial as well, but there's no pro in that name. Drag Bracket Radial, Mickey Thompson Pro Bracket Radial. So we're going to try to see which one works best. If the Hoosier doesn't work good for me, then I'll switch right back to the tried and true Mickey Thompson. I'm running a lot of no prep races is what I'm trying to get into, or limited prep where the tracks are not quite so sticky and most people are running slicks. So I'm hoping this Hoosier will be a great gateway, happy medium between the Pro Bracket Radial and a set of, you know, stiff sidewall slicks. That's what I'm hoping. I don't know if it'll work out or not. We'll see. Okay, so I got to make a few passes with these things. First impression is these Hoosiers are going to be fantastic. You can see on the video the way the tire's working. It's really wrinkling up. Now, I took a lot of anti-squat out of the car. With the Pro Bracket Radials, I was at 170% anti-squat, and with these, I'm at 127% now. But they wrinkle a lot better. And, you know, I think the sidewall is going to be a good thing for what I'm trying to do, which is run faster on these no prep or limited prep tracks. So I think it's a move in the right direction. I haven't tried to hit it really hard. That was with 15 pounds of air pressure. We'll see what happens when I get on a really sticky track. That was one of the good things about the Pro Brackets. It could do both pretty good. Sticky tracks, I could go really fast if I needed to. I don't know if the Hoosier is going to be able to do that. I'm anticipating I'm going to have to put a bunch of air pressure in it. Probably jack the air pressure up to 17 or 18 pounds and see what happens. The other good thing that was really exciting, on the last pass, the track went away. It didn't go but a 146 60 foot, but it started spinning and I could feel it give up in the car. It went into tire spin, but it did not shake, and it recovered. And so once the tire recovered, it went ahead and gripped and went. The two previous passes, it went a 142 60 foot. So I wasn't leaning on it really hard, but I was really impressed that it did not shake. It did not try to shake, not one bit. So that is very, very, very promising for me. I hate tire shake. Tire shake is terrible. They were a little wobbly going down track. They were definitely not as stable as a Pro Bracket Radial, but it was drivable. It wasn't near as bad as like a normal stiff wall slick. And that's one of the things that I was trying to get away from is, the unstable characteristics of a slick. All right, guys, comment, like, and subscribe. Y'all go fast and get some win lights. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks.